What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. So today in this video, I am in Cabo right now on vacation, and I want to talk to you guys a little bit about mindset, what has allowed me to experience these things through my trading profits, and what will allow you to do the same. So let's first talk about your approach to the charts and your approach to trading overall. If there's anything I could credit my success in trading to, I would honestly say it's my daily routine. What you do on a day-to-day basis echoes what you will start to do on the charts. At least for me, that's what was the case. So waking up at a certain time, going to the gym at a certain time, making sure that I predictively do these things that allow me to be productive each and every day on a day in, day out basis, that immediately translated to the charts in doing the same thing over and over again, the same productive type of trading strategy that allows me to profit day after day, or at least week after week. So in reality, a lot of times people are looking for what's a better strategy that I can use than what I'm currently using, or what's a better time frame, or what's a better this or better that on the charts. When in reality, what they should be looking at is what's a better routine that I can create for myself to allow me to be successful. Because all this leads to one thing. It leads to your mindset. All this leads to being in clarity of mind, in confidence of mind, in being in a mindset where you have a winner's approach, right? And having a winner's approach doesn't necessarily mean that you win every single trade, but it means that you overall know how to manage yourself even within the losses to eventually come out as a winner, whether it be the end of the week, the end of the month, etc. But you know how to recover, you know how to bounce back, and you never go on tilt and take any one loss seriously, ultimately because you know how to leverage yourself and you know how to manage your risks. Now, how do you get to this level ultimately? Now, to me, in my opinion, it requires a couple of things. I do think that sometimes you guys get fooled from a lot of traders online that this just happens, just once you join their program or whatever, XYZ. Listen, there is a certain level of respect you got to give to the experience in the game. There is a certain level of respect that you got to give to just being there day in, day out, year in, year out, right? And seeing those patterns, those things that happen in world events and things that repeat themselves over and over, and seeing the reaction on the charts happen over and over to the point where you get to a place where you're like, oh, I've seen this before, or I've seen this environment before. I've seen what the charts have done before. And not to say it'll do the exact same thing, but a lot of times, to be honest, it does. And if you're prepared for those moments, then you can put yourself in a situation where you could capitalize on those moments. The other thing is you put yourself in a situation where you realize, you know what? No trading environment is the same all year round. Meaning, like, I may have a good run going, meaning I've been profitable for the past 2, 3, 4 months. But there is going to come a time where there's going to be a little bit of turbulence, or the markets are not just producing the way they were, or maybe just my strategy is not hitting with this market condition the way it was. And you need to be able to navigate that too. And throughout the years, what I've learned is when the market is really trending for you, especially for your strategy, and it's just moving and it's aggressive, you need to learn how to be moderately aggressive with it. Meaning, I know that during this time where the market is really paying out, my strategy is really hitting, I'm going to make the most of my money during this time. I'm not going to make the same amount every single week, week after week. Likely that's not going to happen because the market environment is not going to be the same week after week. But while the market environment is A1, perfect for my strategy, perfect for the way I trade, I need to capitalize on that. I need to maximize on that. I don't need to go crazy, right, where I put myself at absolute risk, where I risk everything. But I do need to know how to be moderately more risky than other moments, because this is the moment to capitalize on. A lot of traders don't talk about this. It's either you're too risky or you need to be conservative, but there is a middle ground when you start understanding the market environments and the cycles in the market. That middle ground is where you capitalize on and you make the bulk of your profits. And you're not tripping when there's 1 week, 2 weeks, or even 3 weeks where you're not making the same kind of money, or if you're even losing for back-to-back weeks. You're not tripping because you've been able to capitalize on the moments that you need to capitalize on, and all you're doing is waiting for that next moment to capitalize on that. The next thing I want to mention is that you don't want to drastically change everything every single weekend. Like, it's good to have a moment of reflection, right? Good to have a moment where you go over your trades and you go over what you've done wrong. You go over where you went wrong with your mindset, etc. But you don't want to completely shift every single thing you do every week. there's something wrong there, right? You need to first of all obviously find something that works, something that has been tested, something that has a success rate and that really goes and aligns with you and how you trade and is comfortable for you. So that part is obvious. But you also want to make sure that you are fine tuning that thing. Like you're not changing the core of it. Instead, you're just fine tuning it. You're finding ways to be more accurate at it. You're finding ways to make sure you follow this plan to the T. You're following the strategy to the T. Maybe the trading strategy was right, but the time of day you chose to trade that day was off and you should have known better. You should have never traded that time of day. Maybe in general, you took a trade too much or your risk was too heavy on this trade. Like those little things are the things you want to fine tune day after day. And you want to keep track of those things as you're going into the trading day. That way you start to improve them little by little. But it's not about drastic change every single week. The only time I would recommend drastic change in your strategy, in your approach to trading, etc., is when it's clear you've been doing something that has not allowed you to win in any season, or at least for the most part, you just have not been winning. If you are not a consistent trader whatsoever, you typically lose on the charts, you typically don't make money, then yeah, you probably want to choose a trading strategy that goes better for you. You probably want to look for something that's a little bit more comfortable for you. Or in general, maybe you just need to adapt to more knowledge on the markets and how the markets move and how the market conditions could sometimes change. Ultimately, you need to assess that. But the whole journey is about constant refinement, constant fine tuning, constant getting better, constant like criticizing and critiquing yourself. Think about a professional athlete, right? You don't get a Michael Jordan, a Kobe Bryant, you don't get a LeBron James, you don't get a Steph Curry, you don't get a Tom Brady, you don't get a Patrick Mahomes. You don't get these guys without somebody who is constantly fine-tuning on their game. Now, to the masses, it looks like you know what you're doing. It looks like you are great already. There's nothing more you need to do. There's no reason to go hard at practice. There's no reason to go this hard. You're already on top of the world. But to them, the little mistakes that they make are glaring. The little mistakes that they make are the difference between this level and supreme greatness. But a lot of times, most people don't have this mentality of fine tuning, of constantly critiquing themselves, of that pursuit of perfection, even though we never really absolutely get perfect. But the pursuit is what's important. And how this translates to trading is that this pursuit to be perfect is what allows you to start making money eventually in trading. This pursuit to make sure that you're capitalizing on this mistake and that mistake and knowing how to do this better and making sure you're more aware and exhibiting more patience and bringing it all together, right? This is what translates to profitability. This is what translates to you getting more money, to you seeing constant wins, to you changing your life. This is what constitutes to that. But you have to be willing to not only criticize yourself, but to work on those areas where you are weak at. Because if you're not willing to do that, really, in reality, you're wasting your time. You're just pressing buttons. You're hoping for the best. You're pretty much gambling. But if you are willing to continue to critique yourself, fine-tune yourself, continue to look at your trades, look for ways to get better, look at little things you did this week. How did you improve from this week versus last week, right? The more you do those things, guys, it's literally impossible to not succeed at anything that you do that with. When you are constantly getting better than you were yesterday, if that is your only goal, then you will be the greatest in anything that you do. But it's such a hard thing for people to do, right? That it's only those who really have that grit that are going to get there. Now, you need to ask yourself, do you have that? Because I can give you strategies, I can give you motivational talk, I can give you many things, but I can't give you grit. I can't give you hunger. That is sold separately, right? So you have to ask yourself, do you really want this? Do you want to succeed in this? It looks good, right? The glamour and the social, stuff you see on social media, the cars, whatever, it looks good. All of that looks great. But can you and will you be willing to put yourself through what's necessary to achieve that? That is what separates you right now. Not another strategy, not another mentor, not another Discord group. Are you willing to do the work? Plain and simple. So guys, I'm going to go back to enjoy my vacation, but I wanted to talk to you guys real quick. I just wanted to give you a little pump of motivation right now and just start thinking about that. Do you really want this? And if you want this, understand what's required, because anything less than what's required is just a waste of time. And don't waste your time. Many other things you could get into. Trading is that thing that you won't be able to cheat. You will have to do the work if you want the glory. All right, guys? So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it inspired you. I hope it motivated you. And if it did, please like, share, and subscribe. Please leave a comment below, guys, as well. And I really appreciate you guys tuning into this video. Until next time, peace.